everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas day, and it's that kind of lull in the week where it's like Christmas and then we're waiting for New Year's. So every day I think feels like a Saturday when it's this week. I'm like, what day is it? It's Wednesday, Thursday? No, it feels like a Saturday. So today I wanted to put together a video about setting goals. I thought with it being the 1st of January fast approaching us, I thought it would be a good video to do. It's also kind of a different style of video that I normally do. It's not a DIY or home or shabby chic, but I hope you will enjoy this video anyway. So this time of year, and especially coming into January, you are going to be bombarded with a load of new me, new you, absolute shite. I'm not one for setting resolutions. I am more about setting goals and sticking to them. In January, I think it's like the third Monday in January is supposed to be the most depressing day of the year, because people break their resolutions and stuff. I hate all this jargon that I hear in the media. I'm like, let's just set some goals and stick to them. This year I can honestly say it's the first year in a long time that I can sit proudly on New Year's Eve and say I actually achieved a lot. And I have achieved a good bit over the years, but do you ever feel like you're kind of just missing something, or you're not feeling kind of fulfilled, or there's just something missing? So kind of like the past 2-3 years, I've been kind of using like journals and trying to figure it out what it is that my soul is kind of craving. So this year I set myself some goals and I achieved them, and I'm going to talk to you today about my tips on how I achieve and how I set some goals. I also just need to apologise for my voice. I think I might be getting sick. I'm losing my voice. I have been drinking honey and lemon tea, so I'm sorry if I'm not as squeaky as I usually am. Okay, so the first things first is you might not know where to start with setting goals. And my top tip for trying to figure it all out and what it is you want to achieve is finding out what actually sets you on fire. So is it hobbies? Are you creative? Is it music? Completely get a journal and write just even the words down, and try and figure out what it is that actually sets your soul on fire. So for me it's being creative, but it's also inspiring people. So it's energy. So I love to get creative, I love to transform things, but it's also about, you know, inspiring and just taking something from nothing. That kind of gets me lit up. The big tip is get a list and write down every single thing in your life right now that you are not satisfied with, and kind of put it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then write down everything you're really happy with in your life. And go through these two lists, and I start looking at what I'm dissatisfied with. So if it's, you know, they can be small things or they can be big things. Maybe it's your career, maybe you're not happy with your career. So that's kind of something that's harder to change. But maybe there's things within your job that you can change to make you more satisfied. I'm not saying give up your job if you're not satisfied with it, but there may be things within your job that you can change to make you more satisfied. So go through your whole list of things that you're not satisfied with in life. Maybe you want to have more me time, so plan it in. So go through everything, and then the things, I also like to set goals for things that are going well in my life. So things you are satisfied with, maybe it's a relationship you're satisfied with. I would work on that because you don't want that to slip into the dissatisfied section. So dissatisfied, satisfied, that is where you can do the groundwork on finding out what's not making you happy, what is making you happy, and that could be a great starting point on setting an actual goal. For me personally, happiness is about growth. So I'm not happy staying in the one place all of the time. It's nice to stop for a while, but if I'm not growing, learning, developing as a person, whether it be like physically, spiritually, emotionally, friendships, then I start to feel that ick in my bones. I start to feel a bit like, how would you say, it's just an ick in your gut. So for me, happiness is growth. And one of the big things I did this year was I done a lot of solo travel, and I pushed myself, and I went from, like, last year I was delighted I went to like London by myself and things like that, whereas this year I pushed myself even further and I travelled to New York on my own. I was in London loads of times, Paris, Bruges. So that was a big growth for me, was pushing myself even further. And for 2018, I've already taken a step that I'm terrified of. I will be going somewhere even further in February. So little things like that, growth. And then it can be spiritually as well. I like to reflect on the things I've learned, lessons, angst. There's always a lesson when there's a bit of angst. So things like that. It's growth as a little person. So growth can be in so many different areas of your life. You've got like personal growth, emotional, spiritual, friendship, social, financial, things like your career and stuff. So it's finding out within those categories what you're not satisfied with and what you kind of want to grow in there. And you don't have to grow all those areas, but it might be a good starting point to go to them places and see what's not making you satisfied. That's what I do, and then I come up with little ways I can change. My next big tip is, and it's something I wasn't doing for a long time, and once I started doing it, I started achieving, is writing it down. Typing it, writing it. I think there's a lot to be said for pen to paper. So if you can get yourself a good notebook, this is actually a fancy one. I keep this one for display, but I have a dog-eared in bits notebook, and you don't even have to write down like full sentences. We're talking like words, pen to paper. Just get what's in your head out, and the power of writing things down. And then you can reflect on them. If you don't write it down and it's just in your head, like, oh, I want to do this, you're gonna forget about it, or you're not gonna think about it as often. But if you have it wrote in a journal, or a copybook, or all these fancy stationeries, whatever it is, a piece of tissue paper, if you can look back on that and you've written a pen to paper, it's like a powerful thing. It's like asking the universe for it or something. When you write down your goals, you have a better chance of achieving them, and then you need to look back on them as well. Okay, there's a fluffy tail after appearing. Say hi, Blondie. Blondie wishes everyone a happy new year. There is a good phrase, and I should have googled who said it, but you'll know it when I say it. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So write the goals down, visualize you achieving your goals, and then what you have in your mind, you'll get in your hand. So another tip and a thing I like to ask myself, and it gets kind of deeper, is I like to ask myself, why? So why do I want these things, and what is it giving me? So sometimes some people's goals can be a little bit superficial, and mine can be as well. So some people might want, oh look, I want a Range Rover, I want the car, the kids, the mansion, I want the husband, I want this. But when you scratch under the surface, ask yourself, why do you want these things? It's a very hard question to answer, but it's definitely worth delving deeper. So if you're like, oh, my goal is to make 100,000 this year, ask yourself why. Because there's another phrase, and it's basically, I actually think I read it in an Oprah book I'm reading at the moment. It's basically, when you die, you're like, you can't bring all your mansions to the grave, basically. So I try and set myself goals that grow my soul, and me as a person, and give me fulfillment. And same with Blondie. So what I'm trying to say is, go a little bit deeper. Yes, it's great to have, I would love to have a certain amount of income coming in each year. It'd be fantastic. But go a little bit deeper and try and get happiness from other things, not materialistic things. My next piece of advice is the biggest one, and it's one a lot of people don't actually do, and that is taking action. Going out and doing instead of talking about it. So you've done the groundwork, you've wrote down your goals, you have a list, you have a journal, you've everything wrote down that you want to achieve. And you close the book and you just put it in the corner and you don't really look at it. Or you might make yourself some excuses and say, oh, well, I can't do that because of this, and I can't do that because of that. Well, that is one of the big reasons why nobody achieves their goals, because they're not taking action. So once I have like a solid goal, something I want to achieve, so example, maybe it might be I have a target to reach on YouTube, I then go about how I can take action to achieve that goal. So I'll sit and look and go, okay, I'll upload 2 videos a week, or if my work schedule is bad, I'll do one really good video, or I'll do X, Y, and Z. So you have to sit and map out how you're going to actually achieve your goal. Maybe it's weight loss. You have to sit and say, okay, right, break it down. I'm going to lose half a pound a week, a pound a week. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. So you have to break it down and then go and physically do these actions. And I think that's the difference between people who achieve what they say they're going to do and the people who are miserable on New Year's Eve going, I didn't achieve anything this year, because you didn't take action and you probably made excuses for yourself as well. When it comes to making excuses, I am guilty of this as well. I am guilty in the past of saying I'll do this when I don't feel scared, or I'll do it when I feel this way I will do this. The trick is to just do it. And a lot of the time when you make excuses, it's coming from a place of fear. And I know for me it does. So when I say I want to do something and I say, oh, well, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z, it's generally because I'm terrified. So the moment I notice myself make an excuse, I go, is that a real reason, or are you just scared? And probably 90% of the time is, I'm just fucking scared. So excuses probably is fear trying to talk you out of it. And also people, when you are setting goals and achieving things, some people around you, maybe it might be all friends, family, they might get a little bit maybe intimidated or jealous, and they even may try and talk you out of it. It's like we see people who they lose loads of weight, or they stay off the drink or whatever, and people try and lure them in and try and sabotage them. You need to kind of be conscious of that as well. So take action, stop making excuses, and do watch out for people who might try and hold you back. My next one is just as good as taking action. It is reviewing. So if you only, now this is a Tony Robbins quote. I watch a lot of Tony Robbins. He's my guru, even though he's not a guru, but I love listening to him. In one of his videos, he basically said, like, if you're only reviewing your goals on New Year's Eve once a year, you're not really going to achieve them. And he's dead right. So last year when I set myself goals, I kind of broke them down into quarters. So things I wanted to achieve by spring, summer, autumn and winter. And then I would look back and review, and I'd say, do you know what, I said I was going to do this by summer, I haven't done it yet, bang, make a priority for autumn. So I would break it down. Some goals, maybe you've got a large goal, a 5-year goal. I tend to set myself yearly goals, but if you've got a big goal, you're going to have to break that down, and you may only review it once a year, twice a year, maybe you're saving for a house. But smaller little goals for yourself, some goals might need to be reviewed weekly, some might even need to be looked at daily. How am I getting on? How's my progress going? But do not review them once a year and expect to get fantastic results, because it's not going to happen. You need to go back to your book, go back to your journal, you need to delve into it and look at your progress and kind of be harsh on yourself. If I'm kind of having a lazy month and I just go, you didn't get your shit done, go get it done, and I take action. So reviewing is good because you can kind of see how much you're achieving as well. It works positively, like, oh my god, I've achieved so much, I'm doing great, let's go get more. So you have to review it more than once a year. Please don't just set a goal and expect it to happen if you don't take action and review it. My next one I think is a good one, and it's something I have learned in the past 2 years, and that is to surround yourself with people who are hungry. So in life you've got loads of different kind of groups of friends. You've got like your workmates, you have like all friends, you've got all these kind of people around you. But if they're kind of just meh, sailing through life, don't really want to, not into personal growth, not into achieving goals, then you're less likely to kind of, be inspired or lit or a kick in the belly that you get when you talk to people. And I have found that since through like my blogging, YouTube, creative stuff, I have met so many amazing people. And when you have a conversation with someone who gets it and is on the same wavelength as you, you come out with like a fire in your belly after talking to these people. So listen, Some people I know think it's bizarre. I come home and make YouTube videos, or I come home to paint a chair, and I don't want to go to a nightclub because I'm busy working with a brand or something ridiculous. And they're like, oh, life's too short, whatever. But that's what's getting me fulfilled. But when you meet someone else who gets that and they're like, no, I so get that. Do your work and get your stuff done and do what makes you happy. You're vibing. So find these people. If you don't have these people in your life, I didn't have many, go and find them. Reach out. Maybe you're in business, go to local meetings, go to brunches that are held for like-minded people in your field. Maybe you're into like furniture restoration and things like that. There's tons of Facebook groups. Seek out the people that ignite the fire in your soul. Maybe it's watching people online. I love watching like motivational videos, or I love watching like Tony Robbins and Oprah, and I love watching them. They get me like fired up to get my stuff done. So surround yourself with people who are hungry. There was also a phrase I heard, and it was like, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if those 5 people are really, really negative, how can you, they're going to bring that energy down. So how can you, what am I trying to say? How can you get excited and pumped when people around you are being like, oh, and their energy is low? Like, no, find the 5 people. I'm not saying get rid of all your friends, not saying that, but just when it comes to getting fire in your belly, go find them people. So my last kind of tip for goal setting is, don't let the past stop you. And I'm gonna quote good old Tony again. I was listening to a video and he said, how can you drive looking through the rear view mirror? So how can you drive your car if you're looking through the rear view mirror? And that was a quote that I was like, whoo, now that is a quote. That actually stopped me in my tracks, and I said, how can you drive forward if you're looking through your rear view mirror? And I was like, no, that's powerful. So whatever it is in your past, experiences, people, things you learn, things you want to unlearn, you can't move forward if you keep looking back. One of my goals is to be more present in the moment and not be stuck in the past, and also not be stuck in the future either. I want to be more present. But I do know that when it comes to setting goals, things I want to achieve, the limitations in your head, it's the past, you gotta let it go. So yes, that's a powerful tip. If you take nothing away, take that. So you can't move forward if you're looking through the past, basically. So drive on, don't be looking through the rearview mirror unless you're actually driving, because you do need to look. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's not too waffly, too long. I hope I've given you a little bit of inspiration. I've also put together a blog post over on my website, so I'll link it below where you can click and have a read, and it's just what I've kind of basically said in this video, but maybe in a little bit more detail, and I may have missed out something in the video. I hope I didn't, but I do have a blog post down below. I hope this video gave you some inspiration, and don't be disheartened if, yeah, it's New Year's Eve, you're not feeling the best, there's all these people going, yeah, I did this and yeah, I did that. Be one of them people. I was one of them people that I was like, I haven't achieved anything, and I wanted to be like the people who had achieved loads in a year. So I became that person. I set my goals, I'd done a bit of soul searching and digging, took action, reviewed it, and now I can sit at the end of the year going, you know what, I'm really happy with what I achieved this year. So let that be you next year if it's not you this year. And don't forget, you can achieve so much in 1 month versus a year if you actually put your mind to it and take action. Stop making excuses and go out and get whatever it is you want to get. So let me finish this video by saying thank you so much, 2017. What a year. Here is to 2018, everybody, and let's see what we can achieve in 2018. I want to wish you all a happy new year, and I want to say thank you to everybody who wished me a happy Christmas as well. I was reading through all the comments. You guys are so kind. Please let me know if you enjoy this style of video. I'm not very good at the chatty videos, but I am trying. I will be back next week with DIY and house stuff, but I thought it would be nice to throw in a kind of chatty, more philosophical, soul kind of video. So happy new year, guys, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.